All right. Good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. The topic we have is going to be around logistics. So, when it comes to logistics and shipping, they're areas that continue to evolve rapidly, driven by the need for accuracy, efficiency, and real-time decision making. In today's session, it's all about exploring how innovation can address these challenges and enable organizations to optimize their supply chain operations. I can tell you in conversations I've had with customers recently, I'm often hearing about complexity of managing shipping processes, pressures getting to meet growing delivery expectations, and increasing importance of data-driven insights. So our goal today is to share a solution that aligns with these needs and demonstrate how it can integrate seamlessly with the SAP ecosystem to empower your teams and streamline your operations. I'm very honored to introduce two incredible experts who will be guiding us through the session. First, we have Mr. Kumar Vidadala, the former CEO of Process Weaver. With his wealth of experience in logistics and supply chain technology, Kumar has been at the forefront of innovation in this space, delivering solutions that simplify and transform complex shipping processes. His expertise is unparalleled, and we're absolutely fortunate to have him share his insights today. Also, we have Dean Jackson, who brings over 20 years of experience from his time at Zebra Technologies. Dean is a true logistics veteran, having worked on countless solutions that bridge technology and operational efficiency. His deep understanding of industry needs and trends make him an invaluable resource for today's session. So, with these two thought leaders at the helm, we're in for an engaging and practical discussion on how technology can empower your shipping and logistics operations. Kumar and Dean, I'll hand it over to you to kick things off.
Very good. Thank you, Mauricio. Thank you, Leo, for having us setting up this meeting. And my special thanks to Sheshu, who is a founder of Mygo Consulting. We are very proud and honored to collaborate and work with Mygo to leverage their SAP best practices and alongside how we can really bring the new way of performing the logistics processes from SAP WM or SAP WM. With that, let me go through the quick presentation deck and then we go through the live demo of how we can streamline your logistics processes using AI technologies. So as you all know, Mygo is a SAP global partner headquartered in Naperville, Illinois, and eShipJet.ai is a AI-powered shipper platform provider. We're headquartered in San Jose, California. So we have global customers. Mygo has done a phenomenal job of navigating and working with SAP customers and SAP ecosystem, and mainly processing the various complex warehouse scenarios using WM and EWM and also with BTP. So these are some of the global customers what Mygo has been helping over the last 10 to 12 years. With that, today our agenda is how we can automate and streamline using various options which you already have in place. Things like, as you know, moving forward, you will be moving from SAP WM to SAP EWM. So as you know, when you bring up those processes into the system, we need to look at what are the different ways of optimizing your logistics processes, what are the different ways of reducing the cost, improving the efficiency, and also exceeding customer expectations. So along with that side, so we have come up with three different suite of products. One is on outbound logistics management. We call it ShipperCopilot 6.4 for SAP, and also how you can perform your inbound logistics operations, which means that the way you receive your shipments from your supplier is changed day and night. So that how you can really leverage using inbound logistics management alongside working with SAP WM and EWM. And RFID technologies. I'm sure like you all heard of RFID for last 10-20 years, but very few companies are able to adapt to these technologies, bring those technologies into the warehouses. The reason being, in the past RFID tags are very expensive, but nowadays the tags are becoming a lot more inexpensive. So it is a great opportunity to incorporate RFID technologies into warehouse processes so that you can perform and track various business operations using this platform. So with that, today I'm sure the folks on the conference call, some of you may already have something in place, right? Shipping is not something new. Like I always use this analogy, like iPhone, right? Shipping, the phone is the same thing, right? And the numbers are the same. Like even 20 years back, 30 years back, grandparents were using the same dial-in pad. The only thing is the ease of use, the user experience has changed, and which means that you're able to do more things with new technologies. Same applies with logistics, right? The way I've been working in logistics space close to 25 years, but every time, every decade, things have changed day and night. How you adapt to those changes are critical for your business. For example, rate shopping is not a big thing, and we all heard of getting the carrier, how you can select the carrier, how you can select the service level. You have seen it many times, but what is new with SAP WM, EWM, and alongside working with ShipperCopilot, right? So we're going to show you that the different way of performing, determining AI driven rate shopping, also how you can perform the address validation, denied party screening, export compliance, working with government agencies, and also producing the various carriers compliant labels, forms, or documentation based on the carrier specific, be it parcel carrier or an LTL carrier or TL carrier or a local regional carrier. So again, you may have something in place already, but how do you enhance that, and how do you leverage the SAP S4 HANA working alongside with SAP EWM landscape? So now that we're able to use AI driven technologies for performing various logistics operations, now there are certain things that are most important right now: traceability, returns, and hazmat compliance, and so forth, right? So alongside, the new way of doing things is that using mobility, using robotic systems, using click and pack and click and ship driven based systems. So how can you integrate those systems using SAP EWM, alongside working with the Mygo Consulting and Shipper Copilot using eShipJet.ai? So as you can see that the way customers expectations have changed nowadays. Before, in the past, 2-day delivery seems to be a big thing, and next day delivery seems to be a real big thing. And now people are expecting, the customers are expecting, expectations are that they want a same day delivery. At times they want, like 2-hour delivery and so forth. So since the customer expectations are changed, now the carriers have to collaborate. They cannot deliver to the last mile by themselves. They need to work with multiple carriers. Look, there are some local regional carriers who may do a better job of reaching the last mile. So what we see in the marketplace right now increasingly is that even the big carriers like FedEx or UPS or DHL, they are relying on local regional carriers, mom and pop carriers, to perform the last mile delivery, so that they can meet the customer expectations of delivering on time based on the customer preference. So once you start seeing that multi-leg, multi-carrier gets involved, the visibility becomes really important, for both from the shipper standpoint as well as from the customer standpoint. As a customer, you really don't care how it gets delivered to you, the journey of the shipment, but you need to know whether it is where exactly the shipment is. At the same time, from the shipper standpoint also, they need to know where exactly the shipment is, so that if there are any delays or anything like that, they can proactively communicate with the customer. At the same time, they can automatically proactively communicate with the carriers as well. So the multi-modal logistics visibility is going to be increasingly important moving forward when you perform various shipments. In other words, by leveraging multi-modal carriers, you are able to reduce your shipping cost as well. So this is something very unique. The screen, what you see here, it's like we all have heard of ChatGPT. So we all assume that, we all always think that we go back private times, use ChatGPT a lot to do various things, get information. You get excited about seeing that, right? But I'm sure you are scratching your head. How can I apply the same phenomena? How can I apply the same concepts to my business? So I do my business, I work 8 hours in my office, I do in the warehouse. I sleep in the warehouse, under very high stress, scratching my head, going through these 10 steps to ship my package. Hey, how can we reduce those 10 steps to one step? Why not, right? So that's the reason why SAP is here for. That is the reason why you have SAP, ecosystem. So when you have SAP and when you have a shipper copilot like this, we can definitely achieve, reducing from 10 steps to click or no click. So having, once you have those processes aligned, like applying chat gpt kind of business scenarios for business applications, think about it, your life will become a lot more easier as a manufacturer, as a shipper, as an employee who is doing picking, packing and shipping. I end up in, saving a lot of time. I will be able to process more shipments. And at times in the warehouse, most of the shippers are working in a stress mode. The reason being, there is a window of, at 9 o'clock, at 10 o'clock, at 12 o'clock, the carrier is going to come in and they're going to pick up the shipments, whatever is already ready. They're not going to wait for you. So if you miss that window, then you're missing that, delivery, deadline. So that means that your customer will not get the shipment next day. So it's going to be, you'll be shipping in the next day. So which means that there's a delay, a 1 day delay to the customer. So that's the kind of an approach moving forward. We see that the traditional shipping solutions out there has been there. I'm sure, like as I said, like every 10 years, new things pop up. If you don't adapt, if you don't enhance your logistics platform, then you'll be behind. So this is what the UI experience, this is what the business, the users will be using all day long in the warehouse. All they do is just, this is what they do for, I'm in the warehouse. I want to pack the shipment, right? I have an order, I have a delivery number, an SAP delivery number, an SAP EWM ODO number, or handling unit. How do I pack that? How do I, as you see that, at times you have seen on Amazon sending a big box for a small item, right? So Amazon, whoever it is, they're paying a lot of money to the carrier, and there are a lot of chargebacks. If you properly don't package the item, then you end up in calculating based on the dimensional weight. This is something, a visual way of looking at. If I have a 20 items, if I have 40 items here, the system automatically told that you go and pick two packaging materials, two boxes, and the system is going to guide you how to organize those items in the box. There's something to, this is very important moving forward. Just this alone, uh, uh, the you are able to save at least like 2 to 3% of your freight cost, because you're not paying dimensional weight moving forward. At the same time, you're able to identify the right packaging material, you're able to organize all the items on the right packaging material. So therefore, you are not being charged based on the dimensional weight, you are charged based on the actual weight. Just a simple scenario, like just a pack cartonization itself is going to improve process efficiency, also reduce the shipping cost. The other thing is rating, right? How many times you have seen customers, hey, I want to know what is the cost of this shipment, what is the cost of this, can I ship using ground, can I ship using next day air? Then today, you have an SAP system, you have to go to SAP order, you have to go to SAP delivery, you have to go to, at least you have to do like, 4 or 5 different clicks to perform your rate shopping selection and give that answer to your customer. Moving forward with just a simple command, like the way you command, you ask for a query in a chat gpt, you'll be able to get that answer and provide that answer to your customer with a click. Just something about rate shopping, right? And the ship, ultimately whatever we do here, we do a picking, we do a packing, you do a rating, and then you need to perform the shipping execution. So today, traditional shipping systems, even though you have an SAP system, you end up in seeing a huge bunch of fields, like around 50 to 100 fields. Then it's kind of, just to ship a package, even though you get ship to address, even though you get all the routing information driven from the sales order, driven from the delivery document, or driven from the ODO document, you still, looking at, many fields to process the shipment. But with this solution, with the Shipper Copilot, it is kind of a, all the information is behind. You just scan the delivery number, or you just scan the SAP EWM outbound delivery order number, or you just scan the handling unit. you'll be able to get the shipping label and done and move on. Based on our experience, based on looking over the shoulder of the shipper, they're able to save at least, like, before they were able to process 100 shipments in a day. With this, they're able to process 300 shipments in a day, just to give it numbers. And the other thing is tracking, right? Visma, where is my shipment? Again, to get this information, you have drilled down to 10 fields, 10 screens in SAP. But with this, you're able to, quickly, you have an order number, you punch in an order number, you'll be able to pull where exactly the shipment is. It pulls all that information from the carrier. It nicely represents that information so that it is a readable form, so that you can better communicate to your customer. This is something about, tracking, right? So again, shipping software, logistics automation is going to play a very key role moving forward in the warehouses, working with hand in hand with SAP, EWM, or a WM system. So it's important to make sure that, onboarding a new carrier, we have a carrier catalog, so we can easily add a carrier. You can easily deactivate that carrier based on your origin. So you may have a locations, 10 locations, one location Seattle, one location, Georgia. You can configure the carriers. So what, based on that, you can determine your AI will be determined what carrier and service level should be used based on the from and based on the ship to. So we make sure that all the shipping forms, all the documentation which are required to process the shipment is all taken care by Shipper Copilot. This is another important thing. What we have seen in the warehouses is that, one is Shipper Copilot, the other one is scan and ship, print and apply, those and robotic systems, right? So why should you see that ship to information? Why do you want to even care about where it is going? If I'm a shipper in the warehouse, I am a picker, I pick, pack, ship, I don't even know where it is going to. My job is just look at what my system says and pull that information from the bin, put on the box, and rely on the system. It's going to dump a label, it's going to create a label for me, get the label, slap it on the box, and move on. These are the only three things I should be caring about more than data. So data, selection of the carrier, all the bells and whistles should be part of the SAP EWM and also Shipper Copilot, whatever system you may choose. So this is just to show you that, the visibility of the shipment details and so forth, right? So you have all the information here coming, the various events the carrier gives. Interestingly, as you know, like if you go to ups.com, it gives you a different set of milestones. If you go to fedex.com, it gives you a different set of milestones. If you go to dhl.com, it gives you a different set of milestones. But how do you bring various events from the different carriers under one roof is what Shipper Copilot AI driven is going to help you to nicely structure that information and put it in a one single unified format, so that you would exactly know where it is, and you would know based on the events and so forth, right? That's the part of a Shipper Copilot would basically collects that information and parses it and puts it to a readable format. And we support all the major parcel LTL TL carriers, and that's the reason why we are here for, to work with the carriers to make sure that all the carriers, whatever they are bringing up, new changes, be it APIs, be it EDI, be it file, whatever format they support, and whatever changes they go through, we make sure that those are timely applied to the customers, is what part of Shipper Copilot as well. This solution works with WMS, and also some of the customers have e-commerce, bringing orders from Amazon, bringing orders from Shopify. We'll be able to bring all those orders and put everything under one roof, and so that from the user perspective, they are just processing the shipment. They're not caring about from which system the order has been arrived. So the other important thing which I want to talk about before going to the live demo is that inbound receiving, right? So inbound is becoming very increasingly. I'm sure you may have inbound receiving for RF guns, for putaways, and also receive against purchase order. But nowadays there are a lot of shipments coming to your warehouse without having a purchase order, so those could be returns, those could be miscellaneous shipments, those could be samples or whatnot, right? How do you track those? How do you make sure that you maintain those system of record in your SAP system, how do you make sure that that shipment is either delivered to a recipient or it will be put into the right bin. So with this, you'll be able to make accountable of each shipment which arrives in a warehouse, so that you can have a complete chain of custody of the of the shipment. So with that, let me go through quickly into the live demo and see how the various process various scenarios. Then you're going to really see that, right? So I'm going to go through. This is the how the ShipperCopilot application is going to be. So I can change this to the different configuration here. You can have dark mode. From the user perspective, right? From the user perspective, I'm in the warehouse. I have a delivery node, a warehouse delivery node. So all I do is I want to pack it, right? So all I do is I just do pack, and then the system automatically, you saw that click, the blink of a button. So the system is telling me, hey, this has a quantity of 60 or 80 or whatever, and and there are 60 quantity, and the system is told me that hey, it has to go into 3 boxes, and this is the packaging material for the box 1, 2, 3, and it also showing how to organize those items into the box. I mean, imagine in the warehouse, if you don't know, let's say that items, if the delivery note says that 60 items, how do I know I had to put like I had to go and collect 3 boxes? How do I know? How do I know that? It is simply impossible. But with Shipper Copilot, working with SAP EWM, and our partner Mygo Consulting has done phenomenal job of helping customers are selecting the packaging material as they are doing picking and packing. We're able to guide what packaging material, how many boxes they have to select. In this case, the system is telling, go ahead and pick 3 boxes, and on each box organize 20 items, and it also telling how to organize those, so that exactly fits properly, so that what is the value add of doing this. You are able to pack quickly, you're able to select the packaging material, right packaging material. You don't have empty space anymore. If there's an empty space, you are being paid to the carrier. So if you ship with the empty space, and they're going to calculate based on the dimensional weight, and the charges are going to be way high. So this is just to show you how the scenario is going to be, right? So the other, let me go through the think of this, and let's go through, like, this is a scenario with this, right? So let's have the other scenario. So just to show you, like, the how the other things happens, right? So optimize. So in this case, there's only one, and it's going to select only one, because it is only quantity of 20 is going to the same. So then it is selecting, the system is selecting that, do only this, right? And the other thing is, the rate, right? For example, how many times your customers are asking, hey, I want, what is the cost of this shipment? Then again, it's a nightmare. You go through like 10 things, and with this, you just can, whatever the order number here, you just scan order number, and then it automatically pulls that, the rating information here. So in this case, we're doing the rate of the shipment. You can see that all the information is pulled. Whatever the rates are configured for that plant, whatever the carriers are configured, that plant is doing rate shopping for that carrier. And you can see that, this is a ABF is this cost, UPS is this, UPS next day is this much. And so, and then it also can see that, the what is the in transit days for each carrier and service level, right? And you can download that. Again, you can send, you can share it or whatnot, right? All that information will be done with a simple command or with a scan. So, and let's dive into how the Shipper Copilot can do the ease of shipping, right? Again, here I'm not even looking at what is my ship to, and which carrier and which service level. Why should I even care about it as a shipper? So I should rely on SAP. I should rely on SAP configuration. I should rely on SAP EWM. And that's the reason why you are implementing SAP EWM to auto populate all the fields upstream. When it comes to downstream, the assumption is that, the assumption is everything is there. All the times are there, all the weights are there, carrier is selected, service level is selected, address is validated, all the 9 yards what it's supposed to happen should supposed to happen upstream. But when it comes to the shipping, because you don't want to put the your fate of the shipment at the mercy of the shipper, because they have no clue what to do with it. Their job is just pick, pack, ship, and it is IT job, it is a business job to make sure that the data is properly factored before it goes to the warehouse. So let's go ahead and process the shipment, right? So how the with the command of the ship, how the shipping label is going to be processed, right? So I'm going to go through this and process this ship. So again, it is just the label get processed, and then you have all that information, right? So I'm going to go through this. You see that here, it is a FedEx label. It just processed. It took less than 2 seconds, and this a label gets printed to the printer. This is a pop. This is, since the demo just showed up idle scenario, it gets printed. If there's an error, it show here. Otherwise, I don't even have to think about what carrier, what service level. The label is popped up. I just pull it from the printer, slap it on the box, and move on. So that is what is needed in the age of DNA, where you don't want your shipper doing any clicks. I even still say one click is a lot. Why should even they have to do one click? It should be hands-free shipping. That is what you should envision. That's where you should start thinking about it. Whichever shipping system you are going to incorporate, whichever however you want to incorporate, that should be your mode of thinking moving forward. So, I mean, just to show you, right? I mean, yeah, just to show you the different options, right? This is, I'm just show you how ease of shipping moving forward with the shipper copilot, helping you moving forward, right? So this is another shipment I processed, so in this case, it is a UPS, UPS label came up. So and I just continue to do that from the shipper copilot side, and there are a lot of other questions also pop up, right? So I can just do this, and there's other things pop up. So this is very interesting. The USPS shipment, again, it's no matter, it doesn't matter what carrier it is, man. It's like whether it's USPS, whether it is LTL or ABF or Pit Ohio, Conway, Expeditors, all has to be processed systematically, so that when the so that you process all the shipments properly and hand over those shipments to the carrier. The advantage of processing the shipments properly with the proper document, you know what, you will have less calls coming from the carrier. How many times carrier calling saying, hey, I don't know, I don't know the ship to address. Hey, something is missing on these documents. So you will not have those vismos moving forward, because all the work is done with AI driven shipper copilot within your SAP ecosystem. So I'm going to go through one more thing, and then I'll get into the other stuff. So, and again, and HUs, right? So I can scan my HU. If I, again, here you can see that, right? I can scan my HU. I can scan my I can scan my delivery number. I can scan my SAP EWM outbound delivery number as well, right? So this is my HU. I scanned it, and again, so let me show you the other scenario, right? Let me go through a generative AI scenario, right? Show me all my open shipments, right? It'll bring up all the open shipments in the system, and you can do a kind of generative AI base. It's a completely generative AI base. It looks at various parameters, and you can see that this is the query pulled. This is different open shipments. Some are going through UPS, some of them are RL, some of them are USPS, some of them are ABF, and you can see that all of them are open shipments here, right? And this is the ship to Walt Disney, Lockheed Martin, or whatnot, right? I can say, like, show me only, like, UPS only shipments. Okay. So you will be able to see only UPS shipments. Again, there's a lot more value add. You enhance the shipper copilot for to tailor to your business needs based on various things what is happening in your warehouse. So you can see that it only pulled UPS shipments. You can download it, whatnot, right? For example, in you are in the warehouse, your logistics director, you want to make sure that, hey, is all the UPS shipments has been processed, and time is at 5 o'clock. Now we are reaching at 4:30. How many of them are UPS shipments yet to be processed, right? So I want to know, because if a two or three UPS shipments are missing, if not at process, that means that customer is not going to receive it tomorrow. So it is my job to make sure that all the open UPS shipments which has to be processed that day has to be shipped. So with this simple query, I will be able to have those answers without even going and asking, or without relying on those reports, where canned reports and all those things, right? So I'll simply ask a question to the Shipper Copilot. It gives you all the answers. So let's switch the gears. We talked enough on this. Let's talk about scan and ship, right? How many times you have seen in the warehouse that, hey, I just want one blind screen. I don't want to see anything again, right? So this is something, this user, John Marsh, he started his day with processed various shipments, right? So they can see all the shipments processed on the day. Again, the same phenomena as Shipper Copilot, but it's more of having a different user experience, right? So let's see how that works, right? So I scan this delivery document. So it's all done, right? So it processed the shipment. You see that the shipment process, and this is the number. This is what it is, right? So just now process 1188, and you can also see the carrier label here, right? And I don't have to know other things as well. Why should I, right? This label prints automatically. Let's go ahead and process any other shipment, right? Again, I'm scanning here SAP delivery number, or SAP handling unit, or SAP EWM outbound delivery order as well. So let's go ahead and process the handling unit number. So let's see what happens to this, right? So shipment process, it is going to USPS here. You see that here, USPS, and then media mail. And I go back and look at this carrier label this is my USPS media mail. What else you want in the warehouse, right? Click, get the label, done with it, so that you're impressing your management. You're able to process more shipments. You're able to process more shipments, importantly, more accurately. And behind the scene, AI clicks in. AI is selecting for each delivery note based on the number of boxes, based on the cartonization. So the lot of things are happening when I scan it, right? Behind the scene, the carrier is selected, the routing guide kicks in, customer preferences kicks in. It looks at all the options of the customer profile, my profile, when I say my shipper profile, and the routing kicks in, and AI is selecting the carrier and service level and processing the shipment. It's all happening in less than 2 seconds. So in this case, it's a FedEx shipment, and I just process my EWM outbound delivery order, the FedEx, and FedEx today AM, and then this is the label you're going to get. And just to and again, so this is I'm going to, so I can play with this all day long, right? So because it's so, and then any issue here, like for example, if there's an issue, this is a generic carrier, by the way. You can see that he has generic carrier. I can go back and look at this, and can have the label, exactly the same phenomena. It's a generic carrier. It could be any carrier. You can customize this label however you want. So by the way, when I go back and look at the details of the shipment, if I go back to view, from here view, I can go back, and if I need to know additional information, I know where it is going to. It's a ship to here. I can go to the documents here, and you have all that information here as well, right? So the thing is, the let's process some more shipments. And again, you may have something like this in your existing systems. You can enhance it. to have a better look and better user experience. With SAP EWM, what we have done with Mygo Consulting, being a SAP Gold partner, we are able to really bring the various new configurations into uh, picking packing process, and integrating picking packing by leveraging SAP configuration with the Shipper Copilot. That's kind of a very unique compared to any other systems out there in the marketplace. And we're able to also add RFID. My colleague, Dean, is going to talk about RFID. So imagine in the warehouse, picking, packing, enabling RFID, and applying AI-driven shipping process, performing shipping execution with ease is what is needed for the next generation, right? So this is another scenario. Just process this, then you have all that information here. So go back into the, so these are, yeah. So go into new tab. So I'm going to go back into this screen. So you have this information, and then let me go back and show you something very interesting thing as well, right? So let me show you some of the things what we have done differently from, like, even from the, LTL carriers, exactly the same concept as well. Whether it's an LTL carrier, whether it's a parcel carrier, you will have, just want to show you some of the LTL carriers as well, right? So if we go back and look at this LTL carrier, so we'll be able to see the go back here, we'll print the BOL documents and all those things as well here. So we have bill of lading documents, and you can go ahead and view the bill of lading. So in this case, is an RL carrier. We get this information from the carrier. So let's talk about one more the scenario of how you do the batch shipping and also quote, right? So again, the same thing in the quote. So we have seen customers, not able to properly quote the customer. So with this quote now, you'll be able to get that information quickly. So again, the same concept. I should be able to quote this. I can scan this order, and it automatically pulls that information. What I've showed in the Shipper Copilot, I'm showing in a little bit more, user friendly, where you can see it, and this is where I see it, and this is my order, and I say that this is what it is. I'm a customer. If a customer calls you, and you'll be able to have this information on your screen. Now I can say back, and I can say that I can go and select this UPS third day select, and then submit selection. So the moment you select submit selection, it automatically updating the delivery note and the sales order. And my last thing is, like, batch shipping, right? So something you'll be able to enhance the batch shipping as well moving forward. So here I can create a batch. This is what you can see, that you can upload the batch. All of them will be processed, very quickly as well. So some of the thing I talked about, the tracking. The tracking is a lot more important. So look at how easy to track those things as well, right? You just click that, you'll be able to get the pop-up, and the tracking pop-up and show up automatically here as well. And the last thing, one more thing I want to show you here. I'll go back to my Shipper Copilot. Uh, uh, and here I want to show you how easy to track the shipment, right? So I'll click this. Then you see that I'm using Shipper Copilot to do my track and trace of my order, and I can scan my UPS shipment or whatever I may have. So this is the same thing. I'm going to go through the other shipment here. So is my UPS shipment. Look and feel of the whole thing, right? It doesn't matter what carrier it is. From the user perspective, from the shipper perspective, you are getting a unified experience. The advantage of having unified experience is that you are able to better support your customers when there is a need. With that, I'm going to hand over to Dean. Dean,
Hi, Kumar. Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks so much. Hard to follow you. I always love seeing that demo. It's very simplistic. which is the word that we want to use for today. It's hands-free and simplistic for SAP users that need to ship directly from SAP. You want to go ahead and bring up the RFID portion of the presentation today, and then while you're doing that, folks that are on the line, feel free to. There's a chat option in this GoToMeeting. Feel free to post your questions there. I think that's where you need to do that, right, Julia? Um, and if that's not the case, just let me know. But please post your questions in the chat, and then we'll leave maybe 5 minutes at the end to actually answer those questions. Awesome. All right. So back to RFID, from the perspective of rolling out or looking at an RFID solution. I've done hundreds, if not thousands, of RFID consulting throughout the years here, and what we're showing here is that there's a complexity around RFID, and just like how Kumar showed you the simplicity of shipping, which it isn't that simple. But when I engage with customers that are looking at migrating from the clipboard to barcoding, or from barcoding to RFID, I try to outline the simplicity of what an RFID solution should look like. So if you look at it from the top down, with three different rows. Top rows: RFID utilities, RFID software, eShipJet AI, IoT connectors from an RFID perspective. And then you look at the middle layer, which is RFID readers, portable readers, and fixed scanner readers or antennas, and then RFID labels and supplies, as well as RFID printers. So their RFID includes a whole bunch of different things that provides an analysis of the business processes, software that will run the business, hardware, and then services along with that, right? So when we look at Kumar, if you're driving, you can go to the next slide, please. When we look at RFID and introducing RFID Nexus from the perspective of scanning data on the shop floor, we look at the what ifs, right? What if Kumar? You saw Kumar did a whole bunch of different scans. Line of sight, I have to see the barcode, I have to scan it. What if you could automate that whole process, where you have pallets and packages and products that are moving throughout the warehouse, and automate that piece to generate your shipping execution system as well, to where it's just printing a label and it's doing the right label. It's just the same as just taking the human element out of it and integrating RFID, so you can automate that whole process. And that's where RFID comes in. But it's more than just a piece of hardware, and it's more than just understanding the software. It's really figuring out, how does this work in your environment with also SAP. And what I do from an engagement perspective is I take my learners through an RFID journey, right? It's really a conversational path on RFID. And if you go to the next slide, I talk to them about RFID supplies. How are you going to put data on an item that you're going to track? And that takes you through the realm of the type of material that you have to encode an RFID tag on, and then take that tag data, whether it's a label with an RFID inlay on it, or whether it's a plastic metal surface and you have to put an RFID tag on it to track that. Those products or assets need to be tracked with a specific type of label based on the life of the product. So we walked them through the endpoint, which is the supplies that has to be attached to the asset. And then we also walked them through the next slide, which is the tag itself, right? The data that needs to be encoded on the RFID antenna. And that little squiggly line on top is just the antenna, and there's a dot that's in the middle, that's the RFID chip. But underneath that, you'll see the data format. The data format that I'm showing you here is an EPC product data format, 96-bit tag. There's 96, 112, 256K. So you can put a lot of data inside it. But this is inside the chip itself. But this is the format of it. So there's a header that has the EPC code. There's the EPC manager that has the actual manufacturing code. There's the object class that has the actual product code, and then the serial number. That's all that is that's on that specific product that you post on a label, right? You encode on a label, or you put it on a metal tag, and then that tag then goes onto a product, right? So now we're taking you through, now that I can tag my product, I need to track them. So on the next slide, we walk you through what that looks like from a RFID perspective. So RFID Nexus, what that does, it filters out all the data, right? You it filters out all the RFID is physics, right? So it's inputting a lot of, call it garbage, and it's filtering out the data, and then it's posting that back into an SAP ecosystem, so that you can ingest that data, right? So from an SAP perspective, SAP already have a solution to encode your RFID, to ingest your RFID tag. That's SAP Object Event Repository. And I have a QR code that's here. If you have your phone with you, go ahead and scan that QR code, or there's a short bit.ly URL at the bottom. It's bit.ly/RFID on SAP. Go ahead and link that, and that will take you to an SAP website that will show you how RFID works, or how that data gets tied back into SAP. And what the wonderful folks do at Mygo Consulting is bring that expertise in to show you how to map that RFID data back into your WM system, back into your EWM system, so then that you can drive business efficiency and optimize that process. So the concept of RFID Nexus is to make it simple, to keep it simple for the users and make it seamless. And then on the back end, we do the integration, we do the mapping of that data, whether it's a handling unit or if it's a delivery order, whatever you're doing in SAP, we actually tie that back to the physical world with the RFID tag that's encoded in it as well too. Now, from an RFID Nexus perspective, those clients, those RFID system sits on an Android operating system. Kumar, you can go to the next slide. Or it sits on an iOS system, or it sits on a fixed reader where it's the antenna at a dock bay gateway door. So when you move a pallet, it will automatically read, or when you're automatically loading a truck, it's actually processing that shipment ship confirm for you. So all that process is provided through RFID Nexus with the integration of Mygo Consulting, mapping that back into SAP. And I know we have about 5 more minutes. So the key takeaway here is, Kumar, go to the next slide. Yeah, the key takeaway here, it's really about unlocking the potential of your SAP WM, your SAP EWM with ShipperCopilot, unlocking the potential with that with RFID Nexus. And what we would like you to do is, our job is to educate you on the solutions that are there using AI driven solution, and educating you on how you can leverage AI to make your business processes more simple. And as you start to define your strategy, moving from ECC6 to S4, and then moving from WM to an EWM, or taking EWM with you, right? All your RF framework integration is going to change, right? What does that look like from the perspective of your business in the future as you move to SAP S/4HANA, right? So that all that process is what we would like to share with you. I know we can't do it in an hour, but that's the domain experience that we have collectively as a team, that would like to actually have an engagement with you to talk about the experience of what you need to look at from a future deployment of SAP HANA with logistics and with RFID. I'll pass it over to Kumar. Any closing thoughts, Kumar, there
Yeah.
before field
Thank you,
question?
Dean. Yeah, as you can clearly see, right, when as a part of your migration strategy, either moving from SAP WM to SAP WM, or if you're going into SAP S/4HANA, cloud edition or a private edition. So we are here to look at from the SAP WM and EWM standpoint. My colleagues at Mygo, we done a phenomenal job of bringing a lot more automation to the warehouse processes. I think we are able to go live recent times. In the less than 1 year, we went live with close to 20 different major clients, and we're able to bring robotic systems also introduce into SAP EWM. That was a kind of an enhancement to what is already there. So Mygo has done a phenomenal job on bringing and automating and improving the efficiency, enhancing the functionality whatever you have with SAP EWM. And we partnering with Mygo, we're able to extend that for logistics and shipping, multi-carrier. So that's kind of a great combination, kind of an all-in-one package for our customers, doing the EWM implementation, and also streamlining logistics processes with the ShipperCopilot, and also incorporating RFID technologies under one roof. So with these advantages, I'm sure we'll be able to guide you. We'll be able to set you a future-proof roadmap, which increases efficiency, enhances what you are doing right now today in our warehouse, and most importantly, we can reduce the overall operational cost as well as your logistics and shipping cost, and finally, we can exceed customer expectations. So with that, Julio, and so if you have open up for you for any questions or whatever you may have. Yeah.
Yeah, I see a question in the chat. What success story have you seen where eShipJet dramatically improve a company's logistics efficiency? There, I can take this one, Kumar. I mean, it's from a success story perspective. We got a lot of uh, uh, customers that are under NDA, but you can rest assured that it's reasonable to expect that eShipJet, as an AI-powered logistics solution, has positively, impacted various companies, right? From e-commerce to improve in order fulfillment time frame, from a manufacturing perspective to optimize in inventory management, even with SAP and a couple of other ERP backend, WMS backend, retail to enhance demand forecasting, right, to optimize store replenishment and improve customer experience. So those are some of the things that customers are finding success over. In addition to RFID, which is slowly, surely, but coming, a lot of implementations now and discussions around RFID is at hand as well. Next question is, what are the risks not adapting AI-powered solution for logistics today, and how can organizations mitigate those risks? I think from a risk perspective, I always look at risk from a business standpoint. Competitive disadvantage, right? Is what is one key thing from a risk perspective. AI driven, adapting to AI driven solutions, right, will offer significant efficiencies and cost savings advantages, right? So if you don't know what you don't know, then it's time to know what's going on in the industry. You hear the buzzword now around AI. I think it's time for companies to look at how they can leverage and harness the capabilities of AI. Another efficiency is inefficiency and increase in cost. That type of thing is what you also need to look at, right? Manual processes and outdated systems can lead to inefficiencies and errors and so on, right? So you want to optimize those manual processes to make it more AI driven and automated. And then finally, reduce uh, you want to reduce the cost inside the four walls of the warehouse and optimize your logistics process. So the next question is, what training or onboarding process is available for companies implementing your solution? So training is there's automated training on online training, OLT training. Then there's ILT training, instructor-led training, I should say, where we'll come and train you based on your business processes, right? Your tools, your solution, right? And it's not, they're all bespoke training. So we look at training and training deployment as a key initiative for us when you're deploying a solution. Because from an RFID perspective, you really don't see anything, right? I can show you an RFID reader, which I have right here, and a couple of RFID tags, right? And I can scan data, but you can't even see it, right? So showing users the concept of walking through a gateway and reading a tag and what does that look like and the experience of automation, that's key as well to from an end user standpoint. So we do provide OLT based training and online training to our end customers. And what I'll do is for personal demo, I'm going to put my email in the chat right there. So for if you want to reach out to me for any personal demonstration, please feel free to contact me stateside. I'm in Chicago, and we can set that up as well too. And I can bring Kumar on if he's pretty good at doing this with his eyes closed to walk you through how Shipper Copilot work, walk you through RFID, walk you through the concept of encoding a tag, printing a tag, and then using that on products with a backend system in SAP, like SAP Auto ID infrastructure, and then tying that back into a WM EWM system. That would be something that I could do from a demo standpoint. And then it's about advisement, right? It's giving you the direction to make the right decision for your business, right? No obligation per se. I think that was all the questions. Kumar, you want to say any final words and final thoughts on your side? You're on mute.
So thank you so much for your time for participating in this webinar. And thank you, Julia, for coordinating this. Thank you, Dean, for going through the questionnaire and also addressing the RFID Nexus. And Marsha, thank you so much for leading this webinar. Any questions, anything you may have, we're here for Mygo and eShipJet.ai. We are together to help you, to navigate you, to address, to look at, what is your future, warehouse is going to look like. So a lot of things are happening in the warehouse automation. Customers are revamping the layout of warehouse as we speak right now, bringing new processes, new gadgets, new technologies. This is the right time for the next 5 to 10 years. Because unless you upgrade your warehouse, you're not going to get the efficiency. So we are here for you. Otherwise, thank you so much for your time. And if any questions, Dean Jackson will be the point of contact. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Take care. Cheers. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all.